All right, everyone, we have to talk about the defense of democracy, of course, because some people in the legacy media especially, they say democracy is under threat. Our democracy will die. Democracy with a small d, of course. Technically, we're a democratic republic, so it's more defending the republic than anything else. But the terms are kind of used interchangeably in U.S. parlance at this point. Russell Brand, actually, the other day, went on a bit of a screed. And I'm not the biggest fan of Russell Brand. I see him as more of he's sort of contrarian in the comedy role. So whatever the cultural hegemon is, he's going to lash out at it. So if the cultural hegemon generally is conservative moralism or something, that's what he's going to lash out at. He's going to appear to be a liberal. If liberal politics, which is the case, or far left politics at this point, are the cultural hegemon, he's going to lash out at that. I can't be too hypocritical, though, because I tend to be a bit of contrarian myself. I don't like moralism. Whatever authoritarian structure happens to exist at the time is the enemy, in my opinion. And so in the 80s, you get the Satanic Panic. You get, generally right-wing Christian individuals lashing out at minority religious groups, and then now you've got wokeism as the national religion, and then they lash out at random others, Christians, certainly pagans like myself who don't do the woke thing, and I think that if you're a pagan with pink hair, maybe you need to reevaluate what Odin would want you to do, so to speak. He posits that if you want to defend democracy, you should vote for Donald Trump. I agree with him. At this point, it's quite clear that our republic is mainly in danger from the neocon, neolib complex, from effectively the military-industrial and educational complex that was identified as the threat by the fucking hippies, actually. Technically left-wing individuals, although more libertarian in some ways, quite survivalistic at some times. The good hippies, they decided to move to the mountains and grow their own weed. The sellout hippies decided to become yuppies, and then they bought Cadillacs and stuff like that, leading to a bunch of good music videos in the 1980s. I'm not complaining about that, and have no problem with David Bowie and Modern Love or something like that, but, it's a weird and intriguing situation socio-politically. Yes, you should vote for Donald Trump if you want to defend democracy. That is quite clear. What is undermining it right now? Okay, what can undermine the democratic system under which we live, the republic in which we live, with its civic, with the strong enhancement of civil rights, the civic construct, basically? Censorship, attacks on the First Amendment, spying and things like that, attacks on the Fourth Amendment, the undermining of the rights of states to generally manage affairs, federalizing things, the attacks on the right of the militia, the right of the people at large to defend themselves, to bear arms in defense of their nations, their property, themselves, their family, etc. Attacks on the right to a fair trial and so forth. These things would all be seen as attacks upon the civic construct upon which the United States, in its primordial state, was built. Who's doing that right now? It's the Uniparty. It's no longer a bunch of boring Christian conservatives or something like that attempting to prevent religious minorities from speaking. No, those groups became the religious majority in the civic construct. That's what I would posit. The neoliberals and the neocons are the ones that are trying to rob you of your guns. They're the ones that are trying directly and indirectly to suppress your ability to speak. They do this through corporations, through big tech, which basically fields the modern public square. They're the ones that are currently engaged in lawfare against Donald Trump and others, by the way. Look at Steve Bannon's case. They're the ones that are trying to rob people of a fair trial. They're the ones that are trying to keep states from guarding their own borders, etc., etc. If you, therefore, support the basic premise of the United States, not in necessarily the form in which it operates, but in the perfected form which you're striving towards. The whole idea was to slowly perfect that system. That was the entire goal of the founders. If you believe in maintaining the basic premise and improving upon that over time so that people have maximized liberty, they can produce, they can trade amongst themselves, they can speak freely, they're capable of engaging in public debate, they have at least rudimentary protections in the general sense, and I would call them rudimentary. I believe in beefing up the Constitution, if anything else. Then yes, you should vote for Donald Trump. Is he a philanderer? Yeah. We all knew this since the 1980s, since before I was born. Is he always honest? No, of course not. He's a corporate boardroom thug. Is he better than Joe Biden in virtually any metric that you can possibly conceive of? Yeah, he's much, much better. Joe Biden has been in office since the 1970s. All he's accomplished is putting a bunch of drug possessors in jail under felony sentences with his tough on crime bill, 1994, which Kamala, by the way, eagerly enforced as a prosecutor, and spending a lot of money on things that we don't need. If you believe in the right to free expression, if you believe in the right to speak your mind, do your own thing, be left alone, generally speaking, Trump is the sane alternative to Bidenism. Bidenomics has collapsed. It's clearly not working. We'll be talking in a new tech exclusive today. By the way, links in the description to my BitChute and Rumble channels, and Odyssey as well, etc. We'll be talking about that failure. Now, we got the latest economic report. It's being spun as being really great, but it's not really great when you actually dig into the details of it. So Bidenomics has collapsed. We're on the precipice of multiple wars at any given time. That didn't happen under Donald Trump. He never led us into a new war. Yeah, there were some targeted strikes in Yemen and elsewhere, and I didn't support them, by the way, and called them out at the time. By and large, though, you couldn't wish for something better. A Republican president that doesn't want to start a major war? Haha, we haven't seen that in a long time. Yes, if you want to defend the Republic by keeping to ourselves, buffing up our own country so that we can support our allies in time of need, so that we can wage war in times that we actually need to do so, you need to vote for Donald Trump. That's just the long and short of it. If you want moves against censorship, God, the first Agenda 47 video that he fucking released was about amending Section 230 and passing an Internet Bill of Rights. Whether this happens or not, the idea is basically a perfect premise. In fact, when I watched Donald Trump's video, I almost thought I was watching one of my own videos because it's literally exactly what I've been saying now for years. The man is simply better in every metric, virtually, than Joe Biden. In fact, I don't even think I'd use the term virtually. I think that he's simply superior in every way. The fact is that if Donald Trump is reelected, things will probably improve. They won't be perfect, but we can strive towards that more perfect union. If Joe Biden is reelected, we already know how he's going to govern, and it ain't good. And that's the long and short of it. So Russell Brand is fundamentally correct. Again, I may not be a huge fan of all of his comedy stuff. I'm not taken in by him on that metric, but he's fronting new tech. He's big on Rumble. He's got the right idea here, and he's fundamentally right, and there's no other way to put it. That's about all. Peace out.